go back to the television and just kind of double check to make sure that you do have access to the interface module menu. Way you would do so, if we can switch up to the television, is to press your setup button twice on your remote. So that process is the same whether you're using a 420 remote or a 520. So the setup button is the exact same. So currently right now, I have one of the newer interface modules plugged up, and the menu is different. A lot of technicians are used to seeing simply just the 4-page or 6-page menu. This menu is set up a little bit differently, but it has all the same features as the previous interface module menu. The only difference is pretty much it's broken down into subcategories, so you don't have to toggle through all 6 pages. So just a general setup. So we'll start with settings. You press the right arrow. You'll go right into that settings menu. Here is where you can identify the TV input for STV. So that is where you can choose if your STV channel is going to be on RF tuner, it's going to be on HDMI. There are a couple of options: composite 1 and 2, S video, component 1 and 2, HDMI 1, PC analog, PC digital, and then HDMI 2, and then back to tuner. So the most common, obviously, is going to be tuner, but you will have some sometime that'll be under HDMI as well. So right underneath that would be the TV channel that you want your set up for your set-top box so that you can see your signal. Underneath that is the digital sub-channel for STV as well. Right below that would be your STV model. So that is the model of your set-top box. We all know there are a ton of different cable companies and a lot of different set-top boxes. So every set-top box is not going to be compatible. If you do run across one that is not compatible at all, whether it be some of the controls work or none of them at all, please feel free to reach out to PDI and possibly even send that set-top box here so we can test that. The testing is generally done between service department and engineering. So most commonly, I think there's about 8 or 9 different set-top boxes in here that we have currently tested and we know that works. So you'll have to look at your set-top box and see if any of them have this model number and then kind of move from there. So directly underneath that, we have the restore default to STV. Basically, that is your reset. It's going to if you made any changes in the menu, that is going to reset everything back to factory. And then we have the power save feature right underneath that. So to back out of that, we're going to hit the back button. And so what I currently have right now in front of me, the set-top box, you'll see different settings for different model numbers. The 2 that we offer that's the most common would be the 295 001 and the 295 002. The 295 002, which is what I have currently in front of me, this is for all set-top boxes that are not DirecTV. So any set-top box that requires a IR emitter, that's what you use that for. The DirecTV, which is the 295 001, will have the DirecTV option in that menu. Down to the TV control keys, and we'll go into that portion of the menu by using your right arrow. So here is where you will set up all your commands, your channel up, channel down, volume up, volume down, last, OK, /select enter, closed caption, ARP, TV ratio, mute, sleep, and the SAP buttons. So by default, your channel up and channel down is already set up, even though it is not listed here as far as for the volume up and volume down. That's generally always default to volume up and volume down. So here's where you'll make your changes to any of your TV key settings. So we'll back out of there. I use our back button, and the exact same thing applies for the numeric keys are your standard, 1 through 9 and your dash. So same rule applies for you to set those keys. They're generally already set up. All right, so next are your navigation keys. Same rules apply here for your arrow up, arrow down, left arrow, right arrow, menu, home, guide, info, recall / star, exit, and back. If you have any A-series televisions, and it is not, firmware version is not up to 1.30. So when using this remote, if you are below 1.30, these directional arrow keys will not work. You will still have to use the up and down arrows for channel and volume to navigate this menu. So if you do come across a facility where you're trying to get through the menu and you have this remote and you realize that your directional arrows is not working properly, that goes for in the interface module menu and also in the regular TV menu. If you notice it's not working properly, check the firmware. If it is not up to 1.30, then you will have to do a firmware update to be able to use the navigation keys. So you can also use the setup button to go back as well.
Okay.
And if I use the 420 remote, let's see. Same thing applies. There's not a back button. Yes, it is at the very bottom. Yep. All right, so we'll continue on to the miscellaneous keys, which is for your TV / FM, your TV, AV / input, your channel list, DVD menu, red, green, yellow, or if your favorite color is blue like mine, blue. Then we'll scroll down to the very last option for diagnostics. So here, you won't find a ton. You will find a very useful tool, which is the flash interface power LED. For those who have not used this option, this is a really good option for you to troubleshoot. If you have a sneaky suspicion that you may have cross wiring with TVs and interface modules, this option here, if you were to enable this to on your power light on your interface module, you can see that, will continue to flash on and off until you disable that. That will tell you exactly which interface module you are connected to. So if I were to disable that now, that flashing light is now just solid.
A little higher, Paris. You're fine. You're good there.
So off, enable it on, power button continues to flash until you turn it off. So that's a great feature that I use all the time. But once you go into diagnostics, there's only really in the new menu, there's only one option in here, which will be the flash interface power LED. And all you're doing is using your right or left arrow to enable or disable that. That's it. On this screen as well, you will find the interface module firmware. I know this can get just a little bit confusing, so I'll run through it real quick, or slowly, I should say. The new boards, whether it is for the 295.001 or 295.002, will have a firmware version. I believe that, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, the latest version is it 4.04?
That's right.
Okay, so that is the latest version for the new boards. The older interface modules, you'll see some numbers that will start with a 3, like a 3.14 or a 3.16. I believe that's the latest version for that board. But John, correct me if I'm wrong. Can you update the old board to this version of firmware, or is this specific to this board in the interface module?
Right, so the old boards can only go as high as the 3 series. So if you have a really old board, it might have version 1 or version 2. They can all go up to version 3, and they can all go to the highest 3 dot whatever. But if you're starting with a board that has 4, it can take, those are the only ones that can take 4.
In the last portion of this menu, where is the IR cable, this will tell you, and this is for the 295.002 only. This will let you know if your IR cable is connected or disconnected. So we will back out of this menu here, and just for kicks, I'll plug in the another interface module with the older board, so you can see the difference between the two menus for those who have not seen it. One thing I do want to say is that if you do have this interface module menu pulled up, and you unplug the Cat5 cable from the back of it, this menu will stay here until you turn the TV off and turn the TV on. So I always get used to just powering off, or I'm sorry, backing out of the menu first and then unplugging. Interface module looks almost exactly the same, except it has the older board in it. So this will have the 6-page menu. So this is the menu where you have to toggle through all 6 pages to set up the interface module. So everything that we went through in the previous board is all in this one, except it's just on 6 different pages and you have to toggle through each one. So instead of going through all 6, I will go just to the very last page. Oh, too far, sorry. And so here you'll find your TV input for STV, the TV channel for STV, your STV model, the restore to factory defaults, and then here is your flash interface power LED option here as well. On this page, you'll also find the interface model firmware. Sorry. So same as the other menu, just arranged differently.